Truesonians, happy Memorial Day. And I'm saying that mainly in gesture and not in actuality, because actually it is Tuesday, the 27th at 11:41 DMV Standard Time. This weekend was wonderful. It was better than I had expected. And we were able to get a lot done this weekend. I had a handful of things that I wanted to talk about. And now I'm not sure. But I do want to do this. So, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. And see, if I get to moving this around, this is going to become very... But I wanted to... Okay, so, on April 4th, 2025, I got this, and I remember saying something, I remember recording something when I first got it, and I was really excited about it, and all of that kind of stuff, and so, and I'm still excited about it, but I found myself, as I always do, being a little overwhelmed, because these type of books, especially the sketchbooks, like sketchbooks that folks that know, then they know, you know, sketchbooks come with no lines in them. And so in the last month, this is the way my life has been going. Everybody knows sketchbooks don't come with tabs, so all of these tabs I have put in here, and it has just been flowing out. Now, of course, some of them are the beginning of things, so it's interesting how, like, the information for a tab will come out, and then it'll tell me to just mark the space. But then there are some instances where not only will the tab show up, but like stories and all of the tidbits and all of the characters and everything just comes pouring out. And then it has me pull cards for it. So that's what that is. It's cards. Things are brewing. And so it just comes and it just pours out onto the page. And it's incredible. And it would be super remarkable if it was just this one. And then without any expectations, didn't even know it was coming on my, it's another sketchbook that I received. When did I get this one? This one arrived on May 19th. May 19th, so less than a month. Less than a month I've had this, and it's another book with no lines. It just seems to, and I love because I can flip it like this. But here's another one where it has just poured out. And I have this little piece right here is rubber band, because this here is an entire story that just poured out onto the page with all the characters, all the situation, the entire situation, and it just do what is, oh, it's upside, no, it's not upside down, it just, but this here, I don't know if you can really truly see, but this here is something that I have been researching and developing by, it's a series by Lucinda Riley, and the series is called The Seven Sisters, which is after the Palladians, but it's not really about the Palladians themselves. It is a fiction based around the historical facts around the Seven Sisters. The number 7 and the number 3 have always been my numbers. They are quite intriguing, but they also infuse and give me a sense of alignment with who I am, where I'm going, what I ought to be or ought not to be doing, saying, being, da 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 da. So when the directive came, know thyself, I want to say I'm maybe around 2009 is when I really began to pick it up as my manifesto. It was something that I knew 100% that I was going to tap into, win, lose, or draw. And getting to know me is a very complicated thing. This is one of the reasons why I hold no one else responsible for getting to know me, because I am really a intriguing character inside of this third dimension, having a human experience. The charge to know thyself inside of a society that only wins when you're sociable. Oppression only works in social environments. Oppression only works when there are other people around. Oppression only works when you believe more about you from someone else than you believe from your own self. So for you, by you is the kryptonite for oppression. Say it again. FUBU is the kryptonite for social oppression. Why? Because it requires you to get to know you. It requires you to abandon, to arrest all of the developmental progress around all the things that make this society sociable. And I'm not talking about political socialism, which is really a really nice word for saying stop hogging all the shit you need to share because you wasn't the only one who did all of this. But stories are more powerful than we give them credit. Words are not just words. They literally are the means by which we are able to relate. It's not the only tool. It's not the only sphere. It's not the only lane. It's not the only route. It's not the only pathway. But it is still a very vibrant, vital pathway. Words are necessary. Now, the misuse of those words is where it gets a little tricky. But for the most part, if words were used in its more genuine, truly transparent state, there were no bamboozling, there was no malice in the palace, there was no throwing rocks and hiding your hands, there was no malicious intent, then words would probably be the most effective power tool in communication other than music, in my opinion. So the Seven Sisters has been doing some challenging some of my main characters. Has been challenging some of my main characters. Music has been soothing them. So I wrote a piece listening to Rick Braun. So Rick Braun has a song or a selection that is titled One for the Girls. One for the Girls. And I have a main character who is single. She's been married, she's divorced, she is a newly found grandma, and she is what the literature would call a bard. But in urban society, it's called a poet, a poetica justice. And she's also a Toastmaster. And she has been challenged to toast to her single life the real shit, the real genuine shit. Because here's the ticket. And I do have to agree wholeheartedly with the way this storyline and this main character is unfolding, mainly because this is what her point is. It's heavy. It's damn near impossible to carry around, to tote around, to lug around a broken heart. Hearts become more weighty when they're broken. And so she challenges herself, who in the world would you truly be if you didn't have to tussle with this broken heart? She always remind me of my mom. My mom used to always say, if only I knew back then what I know now. She used to say that like a mantra. If only I knew back then what I know now. And it would be most often attached to some significant things that she was tussling with and dealing with and just trying to reconcile in terms of her now beyond middle age when all of this was happening. My mom has transitioned now, but back when she was here and vibrant and living her life, she used to always say that. So I think my mom had me around age 37 or so, 36. By the time I got here, all of my siblings, there's 10 years between me and the next oldest siblings. So my mom had me rather late in the game. I was her last child out, and she had me at the time when she was transitioning into no more casual dating, no more casual sex. I am going to, and I'm 53, so this happened a while ago. I am only going to focus on me and my career and my children and my grandchildren. And unless whoever he is completely beyond, like blows my mind away, is completely everything or nothing at all. My mom said she was no longer settling. All her bets were on her and her children, her children's children, and whatever it is that we had going on. Now, I will say this vow to herself had her home more often, but she was okay with that. She was okay with that. My mom was the type, if you don't bother me, I won't bother you. That's kind of how she moved in this world after I got here. And the more and more I think about this particular character, the more and more it seems like it's being infused with what it is that I was able to witness my mom. I'm talking about after age 36, she went and did 30 years in the federal government and retired with the proper credentials. She went back to school. She bought a home. She got her credit intact. By the time my mother left this world, this realm, she was able to buy anything that she wanted. She had 2 degrees under her belt. She was a professional CPA. None of this was going on with her before I got here. And what's quite interesting is that she wasn't someone who, even though she may describe like a feminist, that wasn't her thing, because she was not. And that's not to say that the feminists are against men. And she wasn't bashing men into, by the time I got here. I don't know what she was doing before I got here, but by the time I got here, she was settled in where she wanted to go. She, just like this character, she has said, I've had enough love affairs to last me a lifetime, and they were really good love affairs. So if I don't get any more, it was better to love and lost than to not love at all, and I'm good. Me turning this focus into what it is that I honestly want to do, I'm now going to court myself. I'm going to take myself out. I'm going to buy myself what it is that I want. And one thing I know is that I will never cheat on me. I will never half-ass me. I will never give me only information that I ask for. I will not breadcrumb me. I will not do the things that will break my heart for the sake of secrecy. I will not have a family over here, a family over there, start a family over there, and one back there, and then try to keep them all apart like somehow, some way, truth is not going to collide. And this still does not mean that after she made these vows to herself that she was around here trying to make everyone happy, because my mom still, she was a Sagittarius sun, black woman, Sagittarius sun. So she's still going to find her way into certain situations that try to paint her in a not so savory light. And she was ready for that too, because she didn't have a broken heart. It's amazing. And I say this all the time. I can only speak for women because I am one. I was born as one, identify as one. Always have, always will. And this is no slight against those that differentiate. I'm not into that. That's not me, so I won't speak on it. And my 20 years in the salon business, I have seen women with broken hearts and without broken hearts. And baby, to have women who are secure, and I'm talking about fully single, who are completely secure in who they are. But they ain't checking for, and ain't nobody checking for, and she is super. But just like I also have seen women who are single and they hate it. They want to be latched on to a dude so bad they hate it that their self-confidence literally plummets into the fucking ground. I've seen a spectrum. And I am going to highlight the one who is completely free of any kind of heartache whatsoever in herself or in anyone else. That woman. And even though she is an animal and she can reproduce, so she could technically be called a female. Most women with that type of power don't even qualify. The tag female doesn't even, it's not even a proper descriptive. You want to talk about the goddess with 10,000 names? Yeah. And it's interesting how I can sense them now. I can be in a grocery store minding my own business and something within me will give me the hunch to look up and there she is. It's amazing how that's doing me now, where I can now spot them in a crowd. And no, I'm not yet one of those women. I don't have no heartache though. Let's like get that shit together. I dealt with my heartache, but I still have a few notches on the belt in terms of financial fluency or even economic coverage. And I would say work, but I work every fucking day. It's the mannerism of the money matching the effort. But when you work as a result of passion, it works a little tricky. It is totally opposite of the rat race or the work ethic that this society tells you you must put in or trade off. You know, the whole stock exchange thing. So you will hire yourself out through the means of employment so that you can get gains of this, that, and the third. That doesn't work out like that for everyone. And I've been a bit of a wild card all my time in this realm. Even my cosmic signature tells me that this lifetime was never going to be an easy ride. It was going to always be away from the crowd. It was going to always be the oddball out, the odd bird. It took me a minute to even get comfortable with being the odd bird. But I'm the odd bird. And there's always some type of message brewing. There's always some type of urge to go sifting and seeking and reading and drawing and developing. And it's incredible how that takes up most of my social life. I am what's called a Jungian. So, and when I awakened, when I got up this morning, yeah, we'll take the hood route. When I got up this morning, immediately what was meeting me was the thought around, what if there was no Sigmund Freud and his bam-ass nephew Edward Bernays? I really wonder what consumerism would look like. And that's not even to say that they single-handedly got us into the mode of propaganda and consumerism, because it seems like there were a lot of people in different pockets that was just working on ways to be able to control the masses. A whole bunch of people was working on it, which I really don't understand why me and my kinfolk can't have different pockets of people working on the counter activity. And then I found out that it is. Shout out to all those that are in the pocket, like really working quietly, sifting, developing, researching to undo this fuckery. I was kidding. Okay. So, day to day, person to person, the oppression really does not look like social oppression. It looks like you lazy and you need to get your shit together. But then once you begin to really connect the dots or put the puzzle pieces together and zoom out, then you see where it's all hidden in plain sight and the functionality is supreme. It really is supreme. To hate a group of people that much that it's literally baked into the Magna Carta-esque legislation, policy, municipality, it doesn't matter. Even in your language that you dump on them to speak, that they must speak, it has all been infused with the flavor of the Magna Carta. And the women's role that must play in this to make sure that it stays populated. I'm wondering, hold up, because I had a piece that I'm gonna close with. Hold on, I'm gonna close with this if I can. If I can't find it, then I'll just go ahead on and just end it with here, because as I said, I was just stopping by to give little seeds for us to be able to continue thinking, pondering, wondering. So, yeah, okay. Ah, gosh. And I thought I had bookmarked it, but see, I've already started moving the books and the pages and stuff around. Okay. So, this is, this is a piece that I wrote at the beginning of April. And I'm looking because it's rather weird. Because usually when I start writing, I will time and date stamp it. It's a habit. It's an ingrained habit I have. But sometimes I do miss that step. And so I know it's the beginning of April. I just don't have the exact date and time for this. But I'm only going to read a small piece of it because, as I said, it's part of a bigger project. But it goes so well with this little piece that we're talking about here. Especially in terms of the Magna Carta, the metamorphosis of such, where we are today, right here, right now, in terms of the place of women. As if there was a place, as if the lanes of women are not a spectrum, just like they are for men. But it needs to be said for women because we are in a society that was built by men for men. Was told that it was built by men for men. So, a message from the women. From the women for everybody. It's not specifically just for men. It's for everybody. So the women say, I didn't come here to this realm to be your property, your helpmeet, your doormat, your honeypot. And the fact that you're not pushing back against such social conditionings is super whack. Because it's not just biological heart attacks I must be concerned with. Not putting any Sankofa on it. On this gives me the impression that it's my lifestyle you want to diss. Challenging oneself to exist outside the psychological warfare, also known as gender wars, is the path worth rooting for, where there's love, and it truly is no place to keep score. So yeah, I will end it there with this little piece. Thanks. I'll be back. Maybe it'll be a part 2. And this will be the second part 2 I'm going to be promising. First part, when we were doing the cards a month ago, when I say that I am still dealing with that one batch of cards, I haven't even pulled any more cards since I promised a part 2 from a month ago. That was an unexpected message that ended up having many levels to it, was grander than I expected. I had even had to apologize to the divine in terms of timing because I honestly thought I was about to breeze past that. I've even composed an entire situation report as a result of pulling those cards. So, it's still on the way. But I can't tell you what day. So yeah, until next time, I do wish you well.